I am Dr. Vilas Raghunath Jadwar, roll number 66, giving the introduction to our today's first session resource person, Honorable Dr. Subhash Behare, sir. Dr. Subhash Behare, sir, retired on 13th October 2010 as a professor and former head of the Department of Physics at the Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad, Maharashtra. He was also working as a director of UGC Academy Staff College of the university since January 2009. And during his tenure, 30 refresher course and 6 orientation courses were conducted successfully. He obtained MSc degree in 1971 from the Marathwada University and PhD in 1978. His special interests are in the high resolution spectroscopy, fractal growth and simulation studies, noise pollution due to the vehicular traffic, and the spices studies. His mentor was a famous spectroscopist, late Professor B.B. Loud, sir. During his research work, he was the sole person behind the construction and fabrication of 35th concave grating spectrograph, which was installed in the Department of Physics of Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad. He guided 24 students for the PhD, published around 65 research papers, and presented the papers in more than 100 conferences. He also chaired many sessions in the conferences, symposia, and workshops. He was an associate of Ayuka, Pune, during the 1992 to 1995. He was also collaborated with BARC. He was the sectional president of the Physics Sciences section of the Indian Science Congress held at Trivandrum in 2010. Prior to it, he was also a sanctioned recorder of ISCA in 2007 and 2008. He is a life member of ISCA, IPA, ILA, IAPT, Marathi Vigyan Parishad, and Marathwada Sahitya Parishad. He is interested in popularization of science, for which he lectured at many colleges and the universities. Deliver the 62 radio talks on All India Radio and wrote the several articles in newspaper on the current sciences topics in English, Hindi, and Marathi. He was also the director of Mahatma Phule Center of the university. He is an adjunct professor right now of Saurashtra University, Rajkot, Gujarat, and visiting professor at Shivaji University, Kolhapur. He was also a visiting professor of Sant Gadega Baba, Amravati University. His hobbies include stamp collection, bird watching, and Indian classic musics. Now I request to our honorable guest, resource person, to start his lecture. Now it's over to sir.
स्क्रीन शेअर करायचं आहे तर
शेअर करा सर.
हा ठीक आहे. हे बंद करायचं आहे इकडचं राईट साईडचं.
हो शेअर झाले सर. फक्त ते हे
काय करायचं नेमकं
स्लाइड शो करा सर.
स्लाइड शोच कुठे आहे बटन.
खाली असं खाली राईट साईडला आहे खाली. आणखी राईटला घ्या सर. वरती घ्या. वरती घ्या सर. आणखी वरती. आणखी राईटला आहे सर. तिथे ते दिसते ना SB च्या बाजूला. फ्रॉम करंट साइट. ओके.
Sir, please click on the from beginning.
कुठे
Left hand side, sir.
काय काय क्लिक करायचंय.
Left hand side there is the icon from beginning. Click that, sir. Yes. Above your first slide, sir.
इथे ना.
Above, sir. Bring from the beginning. It's written, sir. वरती सर वरती.
कर्सरच्या कॉर्नर मध्ये सर, कोपऱ्यामध्ये एकदम फाईलच्या खाली. फाईल शब्द लिहिला ना त्याच्या खाली फ्रॉम बिगिनिंग म्हटलं.
हा
त्याला क्लिक करा.
ओके
ओके सर. ओके सर. ओके
सगळं ऐकायला येतं.
यस सर. थँक्यू सर. यस यस येते सर.
Yes. So very good morning to all of you, and I'm thankful to the course coordinator Mr. Ram Chauhan, and the professor who introduced me. Actually, it is a sort of repetition of the introduction, but it hardly matters. So, in part one, we have seen some disasters which are generally not man-made, but natural disasters. Today, I would like to focus a little bit on the what you call man-made disasters, in which the nuclear disaster is very important. So, for understanding this nuclear disaster, little bit understanding of nuclear energy is required, and which may little bit involve little bit physics, structure of atom, neutron, proton, electron, uranium, something like that. And since the audience is not from physics, and therefore I would like to introduce some basic concepts in an easy language by which you can understand the theory of the nuclear blast, what happens exactly in the nuclear disaster. That is very important. So, am I audible to all the participants?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
clearly
sir.
audible.
Yes. So, please permit me to little bit discuss something about the nuclear structure. This is very important to understand this. It may be a part of boring for many of you, but at least for a couple of minutes, I would like to share with you what exactly the nuclear energy, how the energy is released. Okay. So, for which some background is required. And that background, I would like to discuss in a very, very simple way. Okay. All of you know the structure of an atom. What is an atom? You know, a atom is having a nucleus which is positively charged, and the electrons revolve about this positively charged nucleus in different orbits according to Bohr model. And the number of electrons in the different orbits are distributed as per the electronic configuration. Don't worry about that. But electrons are negatively charged particle, and the nucleus is a positively charged. Now, in a atom, suppose there are 5 electrons, then for neutral atom there should be a 5 protons. Protons are positively charged particle, and they are in the nucleus. Electrons revolve about that. You know, the electron's mass is this much. That is 9.11 into 10 raised to minus 31 kilogram. And the proton is 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram. It does mean one proton is equal to 1836 electrons by mass. Means proton is quite heavy. And the number of electrons total in the different orbit is equal to number of protons in the nucleus. That you should understand. Now, protons have positive 1 unit charge. Electrons have 1 unit negative charge, but mass-wise proton is very heavy. Then there are some another particle. They are called neutrons. They don't have any charge or zero charge, but they have mass. Okay. Their mass is approximately equal to the protons. Now, how many protons and how many neutrons are there? You cannot say protons is number of electrons is equal to number of protons. That is sure. Number of neutrons, you cannot say that so many neutrons will be there. It depends upon different factors. Now, the protons and neutrons are together a homogeneous mixture in a nucleus, and which there are nuclear forces acting. You know, this proton and proton, they have positively charged nucleons, so to say. These forces, when they are closer, they are not repulsive, they attract. Okay. And they are very short range. Means if they are very near, they attract each other. And if you will say, you have learned in your BSc also, that similar charges repel. Proton is positively charged, another proton is positively charged, and therefore they must repel. Such type of forces are called Coulomb forces, and they are little bit slightly repulsive, but at long range, means compared to your short range. So whenever there is a heavy nucleus, suppose uranium, there are 92 electrons, means 92 protons, plus so many neutrons. So nucleus is very heavy. Whenever two protons are close, they are trapped. But whenever two protons are far away, okay, at the diameter, at the different ends of the diameter, then the Coulomb forces dominate. Therefore, heavy nuclei are always unstable, and they try to become stable by emitting certain particles and by emitting certain radiations. Usually, such type of radiations called alpha, beta, and gamma. Alpha is a particle positively charged, beta is a negatively charged particle, electrons, and gamma is a ray. So this process is called radioactive disintegration. So whenever heavy nuclei is there or heavy atom is there, it is always possible to have a radioactivity in it, and it tries to obtain the stability by emitting the radiations. So this is what a radioactivity means. Now this is a periodic table. Whatever elements are known, they are arranged in a particular fashion. You don't worry about how they are arranged. But the hydrogen, left-hand side top corner is the lightest, and the helium in the first row. Second will be from lithium to the inert gas, okay, neon, something like that. The vertical, this grouping is called groups, and the horizontal, they are called periods. Now, you come to this 92 uranium, where it is here. You can see this 92. So this uranium, you have to concentrate. 92 is the number of electrons. So there are 92 protons, that is sure. And these 92 protons, they try to bring this nucleus stability by emitting either the alpha radiation, or by emitting the beta radiation, or by emitting the gamma radiation. Remember, alpha is a particle, beta is a particle, and gamma is a ray.
प्रत्यक्षात कशी दिसते ते महत्वाचं मॅडम. फोटोमध्ये चांगली दिसते तरी प्रत्यक्षात चांगली दिसायला पाहिजे.
Any problem? Now, this uranium 23892 is a naturally occurring uranium element. So if there is a uranium deposit somewhere, ore म्हणतात त्याला, from this ore, this uranium is extracted. This uranium 238 is very important, but it is, you have to again separate it for the another isotope. If 238 in the center, in the nucleus, it does mean 92 protons. If you subtract from 238, these are the number of neutrons. Okay. Now, if the number of neutrons different, then it is called an isotope. Remember, 92 uranium 235 is isotope of 92 uranium 238. It is just 0.7% only in naturally occurring uranium. But this 92 uranium 235 is a very important fuel for nuclear energy. So this 238 and 235 uranium differ only in the number of neutrons. Okay. So here there are 146 neutrons, and here there are 143 neutrons. That's all. Now, this material undergo fission. Therefore, this material, uranium 92-235, is called a fissile material. What do you mean by fissile? It can go fission. Fission means breaking into two pieces. And whenever you break it artificially by bombarding some another neutron on this nuclei, energy is released. That is called a fission process. Now, whenever such type of radiation is given out, this is called a radioactive. In Marathi, it is called Kirnotsarg. Okay. Now, we cannot sense it, but it is always troublesome. Now, cobalt, uranium, uranium-235, thorium, plutonium, all these elements are radioactive and they give out this alpha, beta, gamma rays. Okay. Now, it is measured in millirem, and this is the dose which the people can tolerate. Okay. But his nuclear reactor, I will talk later about that. It was an accident in Chernobyl, and a lot of radioactivity was released in the atmosphere. This Chernobyl at that time was in Russia. Now it is in Ukraine, on the border of Belarus and Ukraine. Now also the 30-kilometer radius of that Chernobyl nuclear blast, it is protected and nobody is allowed to go inside because still there is a radioactivity and it can be dangerous. Now there was another meltdown or the accident of the nuclear reactor at Fukushima in Japan. You might have heard about this Fukushima. This Fukushima is here. You can see this is the Fukushima, just to the northern side of the Tokyo, which is the capital of Japan. And in this Fukushima also, there was leakage from the nuclear reactor. Okay. Now, let us forget about that. Now, let us talk about the fission. Fission means breaking the heavy nuclei into energy is released. And there is another process which I will talk later that is called a fusion, that is combining of two light nuclei in a bigger atom. And it is called a fusion. You might have heard fusion of Carnatic music with Hindustani music, or fusion of different talwad kacheri, like that. Fusion means mixing together. But this fusion reaction requires 1 crore degrees Celsius temperature, whereas fission don't require that condition. So bring out fission is easier, but to bring out fission is rather troublesome because that much temperature is not possible to generate in the laboratory. Now, how this fission is brought out? Now, fission is brought out by a slow speed neutron bombardment on uranium-235, which is a fissile material, and which is just only 0.7% in the uranium-238, which is a naturally occurring. Okay. Now, this separation of uranium-235 or increasing the percentage of uranium-235, which is a required material fuel for the nuclear energy, is called enrichment. And there are some plants in the BRC or in the nuclear complex, and that is called enrichment plant, in which this uranium is separated. Now, this uranium-235, if you separate, then you can make a lot of interesting things. Now, this enriched fuel is called yellow cake, just a name. If you eat this cake, within no time you will be in the heaven. Okay. So this enriched fuel is called a yellow cake. Now, what happens in the fission process? Try to understand. This is uranium-235 nuclei. Okay. So forget about the electrons. We are talking about the nucleus. So 92 protons and remaining neutrons, 143. Now, suppose some neutron slow moving, not fast, that will fast neutron will not bring out the fission. If it is bombarded on this, it will form a compound nucleus, which is a unstable nucleus. And within no time, this compound nucleus breaks into two nuclei. This is called fission. One nucleus is of 36 krypton, another is 56 baryon. If you add this 144 and 89, you require 3 more neutrons, then it will be balanced. So 144 plus 3 neutrons, 3 plus 89 is equal to 235 plus 1, 236. So these 3 neutrons are released plus energy. So in the fission process, a neutron bombarded on uranium-235 can split into two nuclei called krypton and barium, plus these three neutrons are given, 1, 2, 3, and plus this energy. This energy is quite high energy. Now, if you do this little bit, try to just understand. You don't calculate, nobody will ask you. This uranium-235 actual mass is this much. Neutron mass is this much. So left side you are bombarding neutron on U-235. And therefore the total mass is this, 236.052598 in the atomic mass units. After a fragment, if you sum up the earlier what you call krypton and barium masses, you will get this mass plus these three neutrons which are ejected. You sum up them. So this mass is also 235.837995. It is not the same. So some mass is lost. You subtract this from this. This difference is converted into energy. And that is the energy release of the order of 200 million electron volts. That is the unit of the energy. Okay. Energy can be measured calorie, joules, horsepower, electron volt. This is one of the unit of measuring. It is 200 million electron volt from one fission. If there are thousands of uranium atoms, then if the nuclear reaction sustains, then this will be multiplied many times. And this reaction will complete within a fraction of a second. So large amount of energy, if you integrate, it is a nuclear energy. So you can understand how E is equal to mc square, that mass lost in this reaction is converted into energy. Now, if this reaction, if there are so many uranium atoms, and if you start this reaction, these neutrons are produced, 3 neutrons. If you check its speed, if you make some thin sheets of some material called moderator, these moderators will check the speed of the neutrons. It will be slower down and they can bring out another fission. They can bring out another fission. So this will continue like a chain reaction. And this chain reaction, if it goes uncontrolled, it becomes a nuclear bomb. Okay. Uncontrolled nuclear reaction is nothing but a bomb. And if you control it, it becomes a nuclear reactor. Now, there are different cadmium rods and etc. They are called moderators. Remember, 1 kilogram of fission of uranium-235 is equivalent to 2,000 tons of ore by energy. Now, I will give you one analogy in this. You know, there is always a gathering, very important phenomenon in college life. And generally the elected people, they wanted to bring the actor, mainly actresses, for the gathering. And then once the actress accepts the invitation, you have to give 5-star facilities and you have to stitch blazers and including principal and everybody wanted to have photograph with the actress. Okay. And when the actress comes in the pandal, people just clap and the actress is very much there. By chance, if the guest is late, okay, what happens, you know? The opposite party who lost the election, they will start throwing stones. And after some time, this complete pandal will be a battlefield. Okay. And then a lot of uncontrolled nuclear reactions will be there. On the other hand, if that actress comes in time, she is impressed by the discipline of the students, office bearers, principal, staff, faculty, very happy. And she says that she is interested in donating the blood. And if she donates blood, immediately all the students, teachers, professors, principals will also try to donate the blood at the same time. And the corporation will send the tankers to collect the blood because they are our gods. What they do, we have to do. Okay. And this is within no time you can collect different type of blood groups and you will get a lot of blood. Okay, to the blood bank. So this is an uncontrolled but the reaction which is a controlled reaction and used for peaceful purpose. So the principle is same. Nuclear reactions are same. Nuclear reaction, when uncontrolled, it becomes a bomb. Whenever it is controlled, it becomes a nuclear reactor. Okay. Now, the nuclear reactor and all this I will talk later. But now talk about the enrichment of the uranium. Now this uranium, which is just 0.7%, if you try to increase its percentage up to 20%, it is called LEU. It does mean low enriched uranium. And this is used for commercial light water reactors for power generation. Now, if you increase the percentage of uranium-235, okay, or at the most 233 uranium, which is also a fissile material, then up to 85%, if you try to increase, that red part shows the U235. This is called highly enriched HEU, and this is used for bomb. So highly enriched uranium is mainly used for nuclear weapons. Okay. And this uranium bomb contains 85% of uranium-235, which is a requirement for bringing out the nuclear reaction. And this is very dangerous because the nuclear reaction, if it takes place, bomb explodes, and then a lot of energy will be coming out. Now, this nuclear, chemical, and biological warfare is the topic of the talk nowadays, because every country is trying to enrich themselves from this nuclear weapon. Some sound is coming. Please switch off your. Some sound is coming. In spite of this destruction and suffering caused by this World War II, which claimed 50 million lives, okay, people are still in the race of making nuclear weapons. Now, this military uses of nuclear, chemical, and biological warfare is giving birth to many disasters. Nuclear weapons. The world experienced the catastrophe when the 2 nuclear bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan, in 1945, roughly 80 years ago. Okay. Now killing thousands of men, women, and children. Despite the condemnation of nuclear arms, the production and testing of nuclear tests, they are being continued by various countries. Now, a little bit about these bombs, nuclear bombs, because you will understand what a disaster was. These 2 nuclear bombs, named Little Boy and Fat Man, were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, respectively, on 6th and 9th August 1945. The bomb which was dropped on Hiroshima on 6th August was named as the Little Boy, and the bomb which was bombed on Nagasaki, called Fat Man, it was bombed on 9th August 1945. People died like a massacre. So many people died. And Japan surrendered, and the Second World War came to an end. So this was the first demonstration of nuclear energy, what disaster it can bring out. Now, the first uranium bomb, Little Boy, which was dropped on Hiroshima, used 64 kilograms of 80% enriched uranium. And this, how it was a technical, you don't go about that. If there are 2 pieces of uranium-235, and if they are separated by a spring, and if you remove that spring, these 2 pieces, they will join. And if that mass is more than a critical mass, a particular limit, there is a blast. So the bomb was blasted, and his critical mass was about 50 kilograms, which is at normal density, would be sphere of about 17 centimeters. So the bomb was just 17 centimeters. You can understand, half of your foot scale. Okay. And you can understand how much disaster it has brought. These are the pictures of the Hatman, and this is a little boy. Looks very nice, but they killed so many Japanese people. Now this is a map of Japan. You can see here. This is a Tokyo. This is at Fukushima. This is Osaka. This is Hiroshima. This is Nagasaki. It was planned to bomb Osaka, which is the industrial city of Japan. Unfortunately or fortunately, the weather of Osaka, it was cloudy. So the aeroplanes, they turned to the Hiroshima and they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. Okay. And then on 9th, Nagasaki. So, you know what happened? The bomb which was dropped, today also they have not repaired that exact point where it was dropped in Earth. Okay. This structure they have kept as a monument. So the tower in Hiroshima where the atom bomb was dropped on 6th August, like this. Okay. And now Japanese people, you know, they are very fond of cleanliness, gardens. They have canal in that Hiroshima.
যাচ্ছে ওর সাথে কাল কথা হলো না ও বলছে কত দূর আছো তাহলে আমি কলেজ একবার এসো দুজনে তোমরা কারা কারা আসছো
And here you will find
ওর কলেজে
the tower where the bomb was dropped. Everything is clean, but the structure they have kept as it is. Okay, as a remembrance of that. And here is again that park, and you will find there is a monument, Smarak, and here from this you can see here that bomb place where it was bombed. So 6th and 9th, so many people of Japan, including students, citizens, they go there and offerings, okay, and they pray that there should not be any world war, nuclear war like this. They pray that there should not be any nuclear war. They pay the homage. People gather here on 6th and 9th August every year to pay the homage to the people who died in the war and pray that there should not be any nuclear war in future. You can see through this, here is that place where it was bombed. So we can understand. Now, what happened? Destruction in the Hiroshima. Try to understand. Total population of the city was 136,000. All 100% people they affected. First day deaths, 45,000. Just after the bomb was dropped. 33.1% they were affected. 70.3 were killed. Deaths after first day. Next day, 19,000. 14%, 20.7. And deaths within the first 4 months, because this radioactivity is again, it can give you cancer, leukemia, okay, and then 100%. So you can understand the damage done by this. On Nagasaki, population is 64,000 and people affected is 100%. So you can understand deaths within first 4 months is like this 100%. And if any nuclear war takes place and if the bomb is dropped on our megacities, you can understand how many crore people will die. Okay. And once the nuclear war breaks, very, very difficult because every country will procure it from somewhere or another and they will try to fight this nuclear war. So nuclear disaster will have a long-term effect. The effect of fallout is very dangerous. The fallout of nuclear explosions would change the climate, creating nuclear winter, when light and air would be cut off for many days. Besides, the radiations would bring mutagenic changes, creating deformities, birth defects, and diseases. It is not like any other warfare. The after effects of a nuclear war will continue for years together. because whatever radioactive particles are released, some of they are suspended in the air. Okay. And they can drift by air into any another part of the globe. And with the rain, it will come down to the land. So they will go in the grasses. Then this cow and cattle, they will graze this grass. So from this grass, it will go to the cows and all milking animals. And through the milk, it can come to the human being. And then they will be deposited in the bones. And then you will get cancer or any such type of diseases, even after, say, a couple of years when the war is over. And it can be in any part of the globe. Okay. So this is called a fallout. Now let us see what happens whenever a nuclear explosion takes place. Now, consider the case of the much studied Hiroshima bomb. It was set off at a height of 600 meters from the ground. Now there are, again, techniques, whether the bomb should blast by touching the ground or in the air. If in the air, at what height? How much damage can be done by changing its height? Because it depends upon the solid angle subtended by that bomb at that particular height when it is triggered off. So the height was chosen to maximize the area of destruction by the shock wave, because the shock wave which is produced can create a havoc. Say it had a yield of 16 kilotons. The explosion created a temperature of 10 million degrees, vaporizing everything in the device and forming a fireball. Your electric pole, they can melt immediately. Okay. Your anything will be vaporized after melting. Okay. So you can understand the temperature generated. Now this electromagnetic pulse, okay, which is generated, can break the window panes of glass or so, some 30 kilometers away from the blast. Pressure wave is created. These two together killed most of the people at ground zero. Within a fraction of a second, the temperature in the fireball dropped and the radioactive vapor cloud had begun to rise higher and higher. In less than a minute, the cloud had risen a height of 2.5 kilometers, and from there to 8 kilometers. By 4 minutes, it finally settled at a height of about 12 kilometers in 11 minutes. And you can see this. This is all dangerous, poisonous gases and material inside. And soon there will be a rain. That rain will contain all nuclear acids and all radioactive material. People who are suffering from high heat will drink that acidified and radioactive rain, and people will die. So very horror will be created. Now, the crater is formed at the ground zero. Large amount of the soil also will be picked up by the rising cloud. Radioactive material from the weapon sticks the soil particles in the cloud. The heavier particles fall out near ground zero, while the lighter ones are carried forward. They are drifted. Now the first okay. Or enough not to be affected by who might notice the brilliant flash. And some people, those who have seen that flash, will go blind. Okay. And once they go blind, they cannot drive their vehicles. So there will be road accidents also. They will be dead, deaf. Okay. Now, whenever this pressure wave is built up, the building collapses. Now, don't talk, those who are having mic. Now, this radioactive fallout. Hello, who is speaking on this mic? Please close your mic.
याचं काय हो, मी म्हंटले मला जेवायला 1 मिनिट पण नाही, मला जायचंय बाहेर.
80% fall back down in the first day, 90% fall back down in the first week, 10% last weeks and years. So this is the radioactive. Okay. So that particles which are suspended, they can be.
थोडस मागच्या वेळेस मला मदत नव्हती केली, मला खूप वाईट
Hello,
माहिती
who is
करून
speaking?
घ्यायचं असतं मॅडम ते.
Who is speaking? Their mic on. In an aerial explosion.
State number.
मला माहित नव्हतं.
Please, mute
मी
yourself.
चंदन चौधरी मॅडमला सोबत घेऊन केलं.
Hello.
मागच्या वेळेस मी म्हंटल जाऊ द्या आता.
बंद करा कोणाचं mic.
आणि यावेळेस थोडस डोक्यात ते पण टेन्शन राहू द्या. तसं मी पुढच्या वेळेस सरांना सांगणार आहे.
Mic mute करून बोला,
इंडिपेंडंट
कोण
देऊन
बोलताय?
टाका. कारण माझ्या बिलांच्या वेळेस काही कुणी येत नाही.
रोल
In
नंबर
an aerial
28.
explosion.
कोणते घ्यायचे पाठवून सगळे.
20th number.
आहे ना लॉगिन आहे माझं.
Even at a distances of
अच्छा
10 kilometers.
तसं नाही मॅडम, पण आहे ना म्हणजे तुम्ही करू शकता ना.
Hello, please त्यांना सांगा mic बंद करा.
जवळ करून घेते कारण ना जागा परत मग ते साईज
Hello. 20th number.
Vehicle drivers who see the flash directly.
नाही
who
ते
lost
तुम्ही
control
ना एकदा
30
समीर सरांना आता नाही पण विचारून घेत राहा असं.
अरे कोण आहे? कोण बोलतायत?
त्याचं त्यांचं बॅनर
20th number.
But in the case of a ground explosion, it is possible to save people from getting undue exposure to
शालिनीला
nuclear
पाठवू का?
radiation from the cloud. Okay.
सापडेल ना तुम्हाला ती दिशा.
Such type of model, what happens, is kept in the Hiroshima Zoo for people to understand what happens. Okay. The houses collapse like a pack of cards due to the shock waves. Now, whenever the firestorm that began to rage about 20 minutes after the explosion raised them to the ground, a closer look of the model shows few structures still standing, and if the structure is made up of RCC, it may stand. So structural damage is there. Okay. And this radioactive pollution that is spread through the Earth's atmosphere is called fallout. The best instance of fallout is the nuclear bomb attack on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan in 1945 by United States was there. Now, as a result of nuclear bomb explosion, more than 2 lakh people died from long-term exposure to radiation with 5 years of attack owing to radiation effect and cancer. So the war will not end their death at the same time. It may continue for years together. And I was talking about the shock wave. So there is an electromagnetic pulse. Okay. This electromagnetic pulse, EMP, is very important in the nuclear blast. Okay. This is caused by the detonation of a nuclear weapon at higher altitude, say 40 kilometers or higher. This electromagnetic pulse affects the damage, or it damages the electronic devices, such as computers, while they also damage the power grid. So if the country, a single EMP device at high enough altitude could cause damage over a wide range or wide area. Electronics and electrical equipments can be protected against the effects of electromagnetic pulse with appropriate shielding. Okay. If a country is heavily dependent on computers and computer networks and the power grid, it is damaged by EMP may be a catastrophic. All your communications, what you say, how you pay your bills from the mobile phone pay, okay, or with various apps like Google and so on. Then the automatic tailoring machines where you can draw money. Then your reservations of the train, all they will be disrupted because all they involve these computers. So once it is in the air, okay, the blast is in the air at some few feet height, 2 kilometers height, then that pulse will make a lot of difference. Okay. So electromagnetic pulse-like effects might also occur naturally and the result of extreme sunspots. Now, here is a picture where the nuclear explosion is taking place at the height of say 40 kilometers or 50 kilometers from the surface. There the actual blast takes place. And this electromagnetic pulse, they can destroy a lot of area coming under its solid angle, this solid angle. Okay. So more the height of the blast, more will be the area coming under this solid angle. So you have to be careful about that. So you can say if there is a blast at 40-kilometer height of a bomb, this radius 712 kilometers will experience that pulse. And if the blast is at 300 kilometers from the Earth's surface, 2000 kilometers radius, okay, of that area where the bomb is to be dropped, will be suffering from that electromagnetic pulse. Okay. So thus, not only the blast is important, but the wave generated, that is pulse, is also very important. Now on this background, how the disaster is managed, that is a matter of interest. Now, following the nuclear explosion, multiple agencies, each with their large teams and special expertise, will swing into the action to provide help to the people in the affected parts of the city, because the rescue operation comes, disaster management comes. Various teams having expertise in the different aspects, they have to come in the picture. Effective management of any type of disaster, whether due to the chemical, biological, or radiological or nuclear attack, two important recommendations warrant attention. Out of this, many that can be thought of. One is the immediate medical help, and another is communication. So unless and until these two are immediately established, your all other disaster managements is in vain. So first of all, you have to give medical help, save the people, and then establish a communication, because all the communications will be disturbed by this blast. So the work of disaster management has to be coordinated well to ensure success. So perfect coordination is required. Now the GIS system, data mining, statistical analysis, for this purpose, you will have to bring into the picture. Now, fast memory and high process speed afforded present computers, which are underground, where this pulse will not reach. You have to use them and see what is the this what you call damage done in which part. You have to develop maps and immediately see what is happening, and you have to immediately instruct your teams to go there. Now, after the Fukushima accident, individual citizens have formed teams that are even continuously mapping radiation levels in that part of the country using inexpensive instruments, and they are making the information available on their website. But the normal level of the people should be of that standard. If people are educated, they know how to handle, they know how to use the dosimeters or the nuclear detectors, then only you can use this and give the data back to the control center. Now, the role of medical professional is very crucial, because this is a new type of damage done by the radioactive radiations and the heat. There will be cases of injuries compounded with radioactive contamination. In a nuclear radiological attack, doctors should be able to handle such cases with care and without fear. Courses for such familiarization should be introduced at the graduate level of the health degrees, so that all doctors are capable of rendering such services. Because we know people, our doctors, they know only other things, orthopedics, this, that, but very few are aware of the radioactive damage. So such type of things also should be taught to the doctors in the regular syllabus. The government has wisely invested the establishment of National Disaster Management Agency, okay, and a trained National Disaster Relief Force, NDRF. You also see on the TV, if there is a flood or if there is an earthquake, NDRF teams, they immediately rush, because they are having the expertise in the rescue operation, they have expertise in the medical treatment, they have expertise in rehabilitation, they have expertise in transportation, okay, they have expertise in the logistics, they have expertise in communication. So these teams are very important in the National Disaster Relief Forces. These agencies generally encounter flood cyclone, landslide, earthquake events fairly frequent. So the constitution of this ND, National Disaster Management Agency, okay, through which these teams are given training, are very important in the disaster management. Now, the primary ways these radioactive materials they enter in the human bodies are after the blast, through breathing of contaminated air. I have told you that in air, everything is suspended. Radioactive nucleids, they are suspended in the air. Air is polluted. And if you inhale that air, okay, you will be breathing the contaminated air. Second, eating the contaminated food. Okay, livestock animals which might have inhaled, eaten contaminated air or food, including milk from cow which has grazed on the contaminated grass. So through the food also, there will be a contamination. Then through drinking of contaminated water, because water also will be contaminated. So if you drink that water, there is a danger of radioactive pollution again directly entering your body. Then through the pores of the skin, your skin also can absorb the radioactive nuclides. And then if you come in contact with the contaminated air of water, this is very small enough to be considered as a negligible, but it has a danger. Okay. Now, the medical teams, they have many thousands of people with the monitoring dosimeters with them. The members will be trained to handle the cases of radioactive contamination and in the monitoring the people for radiation exposure. For several kilometers beyond the blast zone, those with the mobile phones can neither make nor receive calls because mobile towers will be melted. So there is no use of your mobiles, non-functional due to that pulse, electromagnetic pulse. If the public are educated, they can themselves function as a first responders and help others. Such education must begin from the schools. Okay. So for the nuclear blast, in the school syllabi also, some primary syllabus also should be included. Now, what are the cares people have to take? Staying indoors. If it is a concrete building, you can safely stay inside your bungalow. You are trying to reduce the level of your exposure to radioactive material. Similarly, bring your pets and livestock in the shelter. They should not be exposed to the air. Prepare for possible evacuation. Unless and until the evacuation is brought out by the agencies, you don't move outside. Arrange for iodine tablets. Iodine absorbs this radiation. So you should have the health workers should distribute these iodine tablets. Do not consume freshly harvested food products because it might have been contaminated. Do not use water which was outside as it might be contaminated. So these are the tips one has to follow in the disaster management after the blast. Now, there was a story of one lady, Mary Curie, you might have heard the name. Okay. She was the Polish lady, but later she was a French citizen. And she was given a Nobel 2 times. And even her husband also shared the Pierre Curie, a Nobel. The first lady to receive the Nobel. She devoted all her life for the study of radioactive materials. And she became the victim of radioactive pollution and died because of the leukemia. Now, low levels of radiation exposure or a small portion of the body may just affect the cell membrane. See, what is the biology? What is happening there? The radiation will affect the cell membrane and cause mild skin irritation. Other immediate effects of short span exposure of nuclear radiation are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, loss of hair and nails, bruises owing to sertaceous bleeding. Now, you might have seen that in chemotherapy, if there is some, say, tumor or if there is any cancer, you might have heard chemotherapy word. So the patient who gets the chemotherapy treatment loses complete hair. You might have seen people. So this is the effect of this radioactive exposure. Okay. Now, high radiation exposure have much acute toxic and can quickly kill the victim. The victim decline in vitality and dies from anemia, infection, and hemorrhage. Now, this Marie Curie I was talking, who died in 1934 because of the dose of the radioactive, because she was working throughout her life on the radioactive materials. And at that time, there was no any idea about shielding from the radioactive materials. And this Marie Curie, when she died, okay, her body was kept in a special enclosure. She was the first woman to win the Nobel Prize and first person to win the Nobel Prize twice, and the only person to win Nobel Prize in two scientific fields. Her husband Pierre Curie was also co-winner of her first Nobel Prize, making them the first married couple to win the Nobel Prize and launching the Curie family legacy of 5 Nobel Prizes. So this is her picture. Okay, Marie Curie. And Marie Curie's tomb in the Paris at this place, Pantheon. Her tomb is lined with an inch thick of lead as radiation protection for the public. 1 inch thick lead is there, which is covering her tomb, because her complete body is radioactive. If the people wanted to go there, they should not be affected by that radiation. So her tomb is covered by 1 inch thick of lead. Lead absorbs this radioactive radiation. So you can understand the care. Then in this Chernobyl also, you might be heard about this Chernobyl. 1986, 26th April. And when there was a leakage, okay, so people were severely damaged, and then now there is an enclosure, they are not allowed to go. Now, what is the unit? 1 kiloton means 1,000 tons, and so many pounds of TNT, trianitrotoluene equivalent, TNT. Exposure of the blast is measured in terms of TNT. Now, 2 pounds of uranium-235 can produce 20 kilotons in a blast. And today, people have developed the warheads. Okay, 100 to 200 kilotons. So now such type of bombs, they attach to the missiles or the rockets, and then with the proper guidance system, they give latitude and longitude. It is bound to come and destroy and fall at your place. So you can understand, no place in the world is safe. Okay. So many countries, they have very, very strong weapons and the warheads also. Now there is another material called plutonium, dangerous than uranium. It's 239 plutonium. It can produce explosion as big as 21,000 tons of TNT. So you can kill it 2 million people if the plutonium is used. Okay. Now there is one more dangerous bomb coming into the picture. Nobody has tested it, but this bomb is known as a neutron bomb. Okay. This bomb was discovered in 81. Now this bomb will not say damage the property, but it will kill all the live things. Means your properties, building, buses, trains, aeroplanes, everything will be intact. But the persons inside them, they will be dying because of these neutrons. So this is more dangerous. Properties will be saved, but there will be nobody to look after them. Your cattle will be died. Your all the crops, since they are also live things, they will die. There will be nothing to eat. Okay. All the people, living things will die because these neutrons will damage the cells in the body. Okay. So this is, nobody has tried so far, but this bomb is there. So you can understand. So these are the countries having black colors, having the nuclear weapons. But this is an old story. Maybe more countries they are having the nuclear weapons with them. Those who don't have, they will purchase and bomb. Okay. So, and we have now the missiles, and this missiles range is it can go to Europe also, it can go to even China also. And there is one lady, Tessie Thomas, who is increasing this. She is called Agniputri. So this lady is heading the 500 scientists division in ISRO, and working on this range, increasing the range of Agni 5, Agni 6, Agni 7. And at the end, they have this bomb that is called a warhead. And once you give the latitude, longitude, this missile go and fall there. So with minimum error. And therefore, if you attach your missile, attach your bomb to such type of missiles, then it becomes a warhead. So that is why it is a very troublesome business. Now the First World War killed how many? So many people. Second World War, so many people. So the Third World War means the Earth will be finished. So best way is to ban the nuclear weapons, not to use anymore. If you use this, you are damaging your own house. Okay. Now there are chemical weapons also. This was the story of the atomic bomb. Then there is a fission process. Now fusion process is still there, but before that, let us talk something about the chemical weapons. You know, Iraq was on the radar of America in the period of Saddam Hussein, and they bombed very heavily, and that war is known as the Gulf War. Okay, several oil wells they were burnt. Okay, the explosives used clear minefields, destroyed topsoil beyond repair. Chemical explosions cause blistering of skin, injury of lungs, and disrupting cell respiration. Herbicides and pesticides have been used to poison soils and destroy crops during the Vietnam War. So biological weapons do not generate immediate effects, but after a couple of years, you can see what happens. The microbes, bacterial and fungal agents are capable of causing diseases and affecting the immune system. The microbes of plague and smallpox are transmissible and cause epidemics. More recently, anthrax, you might have heard the word anthrax powder, was used as a biological weapon to frighten and terrorize people, which, when inhaled, is fatal. Now, what are the environmental effects of war? Okay. First is deforestation, burnt out. If there is no forest, your air will not be clean. What the forests do? They absorb this carbon dioxide and give you oxygen. But if you cut the forests, there is no agency to absorb the carbon dioxide. And heavy military equipments, contamination of land, air, and water by these wastes of people and machines, discarded explosives, chemical and biological weapons. Okay. All these, they can cause contamination of land, contamination of water, contamination of air. And therefore, you have to avoid the war as far as possible. Okay. But people don't listen to this. Now let us go to the another peaceful uses of nuclear energy. You have seen only the dark side, what happens in the bomb. But the same energy you can use for the good cause also. Okay. Now the nuclear power plant, where their nuclear reaction is in a controlled fashion, okay, can use this energy to generate electricity. How? This heat is removed, there will be a lot of heat. That heat will be removed from that reactor core by a cooling system. That hot water will be circulated through one pipe and returned back. So this water will not come in contact with another water. That another water which is heated will generate vapor. Okay, wow. And this vapor will run the turbine and the electricity will be generated. So in this way, you have a nuclear reactor. So here there are rods, alternate rods of your cadmium and uranium-235. Cadmium will act as a moderator to check the speed of the fast neutrons, and the chain reaction will continue. So the rod pulling inside or pushing inside will be done mechanically to sustain the nuclear reaction and stop completely if there is a danger of meltdown. So there is a control. If there is anything going wrong or exploding, this meltdown is there, immediately the nuclear power plant can be stopped. So in the concrete wall, heavy concrete wall, dome, there is a arrangement to push this, and there is a water in that. This water will be contaminated and hot. This water pipe will be again going back, and this water will be pipe which is there will be covered by another tank, which is the water will not come in the contact with this water. Okay, and that water will be heated, and then the electricity will be generated. A symmetric diagram. So here the water will be there, and the okay. So this water vapor here you will be heated. Okay, here it will not come in contact. This water reactor coolant system. This water will not come in contact with this, and then this water will be heated, and this water which is hot will go here, vapor. Okay, and it will run the turbine generator. Electricity will be generated. Again, this water which will be cooled, again given back to this system. Okay, so this is a nuclear reactor, and fortunately in India, all the new nuclear reactors are very safe. Nothing wrong it can go there. All the systems are so close that if there is any danger, automatically the plant will shut off. Okay, so this is that yellow cake, enriched uranium and cadmium rods, which is a fuel for the nuclear reactor. Now the electricity which is generated, okay, in case of Indian say context, we get 60% of the electricity but from coal. Okay, then natural gas 9%. Okay, diesel only very small percentage, and hydropower is some 16% this side, and other renewables like this. But the coal is not going to last long, because for taking out 100 kilogram of coals, if you spend more than 200 kilogram of coal, the cost benefit ratio will go down. So you have to worry about the economics of the exploration of the coal. And already coal fields are less in number. Okay, so coal is not going to survive for a long time. They show about the petrol and diesel. Naturally, therefore, we have to go for the wind power, then we have to go for some another solar power, and they are called renewable energy resources. And we generate only 2% of the electricity from the radioactive, from this nuclear. Still, people say, stop nuclear reactors. You give me some alternative by which we can generate. Okay, so now you see, here there are number of nuclear reactors. These are the countries, and how much percent of the electricity of that country is generated. I will show you here some countries like what you call Lithuania. 70% of the electricity of that country comes from the nuclear energy. Then Slovakia, 56%. Then comes France. Here it is, 80% of the electricity. Okay, Germany, 31%. Hungary, 38%. Then there are some countries like Sweden, then Ukraine. All they get the electricity from nuclear reactors. UK has 23 nuclear reactors. America has 104 nuclear reactors. Okay. France has 59 nuclear reactors. Japan, who suffered from the bomb, has 56 nuclear reactors, gets 30% of the electricity from nuclear energy. See, and then you say about India, only 15 nuclear reactors are there. Okay. And hardly we get 3% of the power. Still, there are some people, okay, they say, no, no, stop everything, stop everything. You see about Japan, who were blasted by the or the surrendered in the Second World War, have 30% of the electricity generation from 56 nuclear reactors. Okay. So this is the tragedy. We don't understand the statistics. And we have some reactors, famous reactors, which generate a lot of power. This is the story of 24 December. Kundakulam in Tamil Nadu, maximum power. Kakrapar in Gujarat. Tarapur, oldest plant in Maharashtra. Okay. Rajasthan, Rana Pratap Sagar. Then comes Dikaiga in Karnataka, Narora in Uttar Pradesh, and this is in Chennai. Where is Kundakulam? If you go to Kanyakumari, Vivekananda Memorial Rocks, you can see this slightly in a diffuse way in the ocean, this Kundakulam. It is in the Tamil Nadu. Kakrapar in Gujarat, Tarapur is in Maharashtra, then Rajasthan, they have that Rana Pratap Sagar power station, Kaiga in Karnataka, and we have very few nuclear reactors, but we get power from that. Now let us come to the another nuclear reaction, which is clean. That is called a fusion reaction. Where the heavy hydrogen are called deuterium is fused together and you get electricity. The energy available from 19 gram of deuterium is equivalent to about 10,000 liters of petrol or 80 tons of TNT. But these reactions, they take place only at 1 crore degrees Celsius temperature. So fusion reactions are attractive, but you require a very high temperature to ignite this reaction. Okay. Our sun is burning from millions of years. What is the source? The sun contains a lot of hydrogen. This hydrogen burns due to nuclear fusion reaction. And at the center of the sun, the temperature is more than 1 crore degrees Celsius. And therefore, the nuclear reactions take in the center of the sun, core of the sun, and sun-like stars, and they generate power. So although sun is at the distance of 500 seconds, in 1 second light travels so much distance. So in 500 seconds, how much? It takes 8 minutes for sun ray to come to the earth. So although it is far away, you can feel the sun heat. So the actual temperature of the sun is very high in the core. So this is an example of the fusion reaction. Okay. Now people are trying to bring fusion reactions in the laboratory with the help of some techniques. And if it becomes in practice affordable, then some problem will be solved and people will not have to rely on the fuels like diesel and petrol. Now fossil fuels like petrol, diesel, they are slowly, people are going for the electric vehicles or even some train. We are launching one train which will run on hydrogen. Okay. So with that hydrogen as a fuel, we don't need any kind of fossil fuel and we can run the locomotives. But all in all, nuclear energy is dangerous. And some headcrack person, if goes for the nuclear war, effects will be dangerous. So therefore, this nuclear disaster has to be addressed sincerely. Okay. Therefore, this is the story of the nuclear disaster. Now, I will slowly come to the characteristic of disaster and disaster management a little bit. And after that, if time permits, and I'm sure we will get enough time, we'll talk something about the another topic which I will disclose later. Now let us say what are the characteristics of disaster, any type of disaster, if you say. So I hope you have understood what is the nuclear, how the fission reaction takes place, fusion reaction takes place, how what is the difference between a bomb and a nuclear reactor, okay, and what happens as a disaster and how the disaster is to be addressed. Now come to the disasters, the different characteristics. We have to worry about all these things about the disasters. Predictability. We cannot predict any disaster. At this time, there will be some disaster. But you can sometimes guess in the rainy season there will be floods. You know which are the areas prone to floods. So at least some vague understanding can be there about predictability. Now there are earthquake prone areas. In particular area, the earthquakes are the land is sensitive to the earthquakes. So in that area, you have to keep your disaster management teams ready. Then controllability. So if you can say predict this is the area, you have to have control measures in that area. The speed onset. So quickly you have to arrange your logistics to go to the affected area. Length, forewarning. So sometimes, suppose cyclone is there, you get the idea of the cyclone getting to the particular spot on the coast some 3 days ago, 4 days ago. So you have this interval. So within 4 days, you can arrange for your disaster management. So the length of forewarning about the disaster is very important. More the length, you can get more breathing time. But if it is in few hours, very difficult. Okay. So the length of the forewarning of the disaster will give you some breathing time for arranging a disaster management. The duration of the impact, how far this impact of that disaster will continue. Say, for example, the cyclone. It comes and hits and goes away. So within that 1 hour, it can destroy many things. So that disaster period impact hour is just 1 hour. Accidents for a couple of minutes. Okay. So tsunami, 1 hour at the most. So the duration of the impact is very important. So what happens before the impact? What happens after the impact? So the rescue teams and all these things, they come just after the impact in the action. And the scope and intensity of the impact. Now, disaster management is the responsibility of all the spheres of government. Generally, what you see in our government, many people try to avoid their responsibility. If any, say, something happens, some mishap happens in particular at particular place, then police stations, they will say it is not in our region. They wanted to just avoid. Another police station says it is not in our region. So they will continue. So this is very bad. So the responsibility should be collective one. Whosoever notices, they should act first. Disaster management should use resources, okay, exist for a day-to-day purpose. Organization should function as extension to their core business, and individuals are responsible for their own safety. In our country, generally, anything government is responsible. Anything government is responsible. Anything government is responsible. This is not correct. Say, for example, there is a cartoon, there is a small ad, and there are some 4 persons. 2 are sitting to this side, 2 are sitting to this side. And somehow there is a at rake accident, and there is a hole to the bottom. And these 2 persons sitting to this side, they are taking out the water and clearing it. Another 2 persons, they are laughing. And what they say? It's sure. Glad the hole is not in our hand. is they don't understand the gravity of the problem. They say that the whole is to their side. So this should not happen in the disaster management. This is very important. Now, what happens? Disaster management planning should recognize the difference between incidents and disaster. Small incident is different. Disaster is different. A mishap can be there for a small thing. Only few people will be in the danger zone. For example, a small accident. But if you come to disaster, a whole lot, thousands of people, they come under the danger zone. So that is called a disaster. Earthquake, you cannot say just only 1% or 2% they have died. So it will affect a large area. Floods, large area. So you should try to distinguish between the mishap incident and a disaster. Disaster management planning must take account of the type of physical environment and the structure of the population. Sometimes the population is very thin and the population density is very high sometimes. So at both the places you have to treat accordingly. DM arrangements, that is the disaster management arrangement, must recognize the involvement and the potential role of non-government agencies, NGOs. Okay, some NGOs are generally fake, some are real. So you have to identify which are the fake NGOs. Now, what are the phases of the disaster? There are different phases. First is the pre-impact phase, and there is an impact phase, actual disaster happening, and then the post-impact phase. So there are three types of phases. You have to identify them. You cannot do much in the pre-impact phase. If you can do it, very good. After impact, you have to move rapidly to the rescue. Now, phases of the disaster, if you talk, what do you mean by the disaster preparedness? You should be ready to face any such abnormal happening, because you cannot predict a disaster. So on so and so date the tsunami is coming, on so and so date the
सर ऑडिओ प्रॉब्लेम आहे. आवाज येत नाहीये. बेहरे सर म्यूट आहेत, म्यूट.
ठीक आहे, ऐकायला येतं का? कॅन यू लिसन?
हा, येस सर, येस सर.
हे स्क्रीन शेअरिंग व्हायला पाहिजे ना.
स्क्रीन शेअर करा सर.
हा,
Good afternoon, sir.
या. Hello.
Yes, sir.
I was talking about the disaster preparedness. Can you listen me?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir,
So let us
student
talk
mic
about
is
the
muted.
phases of the disaster management. That is, the first is the preparedness, then the disaster impact. The time in which actually the disaster is taking place is called the disaster impact, disaster response, and after disaster, the rehabilitation. Because always, once the things go, you have to rehabilitate the people, and the disaster mitigation. These are the disaster management phases mainly classified. Now, preparedness should be in the form of three forms: money, manpower, and material. Suppose you have money, but there are no volunteers, no materials, no use. If you have money and manpower, but there is no material, what you will do? You have to rescue operation, vehicles, this, that, medical treatment. So material is also important. So all these three things are very important for the preparedness. Which are the three things? Money, manpower, and material. Then the evaluation from past experiences about the risk location of disaster-prone areas. Now, for preparedness, every year the cyclones are hitting the coast. So around the coast, you have some monitoring agencies. Around the coast, you should have some homes, shelter homes. Okay. So this is called preparedness. If you know every year there is a flooding in this area, so along that particular places, you should have a rescue teams already there in that particular period. So this is called preparedness. Then the organization of communication, information, and warning systems. If there is a cyclone coming, people with the help of loudspeaker, newspaper, TV channels, they propagate whatever the recent bulletins. Every hour they have a bulletin information depending upon the situation. And the coordination is very important, because every team, if they wanted to behave in their own way, then it is very difficult to fight Okay, the disaster. Here is a cartoon. You will find how the coordination is very important. If there is a rail train line, they wanted to have a new rail line between two cities, A and B. One work starts from A, another work starts from B. Both the teams are coming together. One of the rail is correct, but another rails, one group has brought it from another way. This fellow have brought from another, and every group says that they are correct. So this is the phenomenon of lack of coordination. So coordination should be there. Otherwise, very difficult to control the situation. Then the development of public education program. Now from schools, you have to give some tips to the students. Even in the college also, you have to see that how it is included in the syllabus. That if the tsunami is coming, what the coastal area people they should do. If the earthquake is coming, how to take care, how to protect yourself, how to hide under the table or any cot or something like that, and then how to take care. Okay, so all these things, some small tips, they will serve the purpose, and many lives will be saved. Then the coordination with the media. Our media is a very fantastic media. They will only print the things which are not required. They will have Cincinnati news, any nonsense news they are printing. And they are not giving any importance to actual disasters. National and international relations. They should be beyond politics. On the humanitarian background, you should be working. And keeping the stock of the foods, drug, and other essential commodities. If there is an epidemics, sathiche rog asla, then you have to worry for the stock of medicines and stock of all the team of doctors having their expertise. Then the stock of foods when there is a disaster possibility due to the, say, famine, dushkar, then you have to see that how the food is made available to the needy people. So all these things, they come in the disaster management. Okay. And you see the media, Sridevi, she was found dead in some hotel in Dubai or something, and the media person is climbing in this on the pipe, and then he's saying that उसी बाथरूम के पाइप से लाइव और एक एक्सक्लूसिव बाइट में दे रहा हूं आपके चैनल से, and they are not worried about the very serious things. Now preparing to handle an emergency. Now, this includes the plan of preparations made to save lives and to help a response and rescue operations. Evacuation plans and stocking food and water are both examples of preparedness. Preparedness activities take place before an emergency occurs. Okay, and this is an impact phase, actually, what is happening. Then, whenever an earthquake takes place, so the impact is over. You have to search the dead bodies, find out who are the lively persons alive. Okay, those who are buried, rescue and provide them the first aid. Then the field care you have to take. Triage means you should give the medical treatment to all the needy persons. Okay, there are some people who are on the border of death and life. You have to give the proper treatment them, move them quickly, logistics, tagging. Then you have to classify. These are the persons in danger. These are the persons require immediate attention. They can be given treatment later, something like that. And identification of the dead. Who are the persons dead? Okay, all these things come in the management. Now the disaster response. Now, in case of epidemiologic surveillance and disease control, vaccination, nutrition, sometimes after an earthquake or after a massacre, it is possible that you may have some epidemiologic surveillance, some cholera may come, some such type of disease may come. So immediately you have to go for the disease control or the vaccination. So all the teams should be ready with the necessary equipments. Now, responding safely to an emergency includes actions taken to save the lives and prevent further property damage in an emergency situation. Response is putting your preparedness plans into action. Seeking shelter from a tornado, that is the say cyclone type of thing, or turning off the gas valves in an earthquake are both response activities. All these things come in the preparedness. Then a rehabilitation process. You have to worry for immediate water supply, then the food safety, then the basic sanitization and the personal hygiene, vector control. So these are the things which are to be given attention as soon as the mishap is over, as soon as the disaster is over, impact phase is over. In the rehabilitation, immediately you have to go for the power supply, water supply, food supply, okay, basic sanitation. Otherwise, again, disease will come epidemic. Okay, right from personal hygiene and the vector control. Okay, all these things comes in the rehabilitation phase. Then question of mitigation comes. How to say mitigate this? So what are the things how to fight with this? Now this includes any activities that prevent an emergency, reduce the chance of an emergency happening, or reduce the damage effects of unavoidable emergencies. Means suppose there is a dam which is under the threat, you have to give proper attention. Okay. If there is a breach to collapse, you have to repair it in time. Okay. So sometimes the buying flood and fire insurance for your home, this comes under this mitigation activity. Mitigation activities take place before and after the emergencies. Now, these include depending upon the disaster protection of vulnerable population and structure, improving structural qualities of schools, houses, and such other buildings so that medical casualties can be minimized. Sometimes some buildings are very old. Every year in Bombay, by collapsing of old buildings, many people die. And for that purpose, you have to make a survey, find out which are the buildings which are very, very old, ask the people to vacate them, provide them alternative shelters. Okay, this comes in this management also. Now, ensuring the safety of health facilities and public health services, including water supply and sewage systems, to reduce the cost of rehabilitation and reconstruction. This mitigation complements the disaster preparedness and disaster response activities. Now, recovery from an emergency includes action taken to return to a normal or even safer situation following an emergency. Recovery includes getting financial assistance to help to pay for the repairs. Recovery activities take place after an emergency. So, successful recovery preparation, be vigilant in health teaching, psychological support, referrals to hospital as needed, remain alert for environmental health, and nurse must be attentive to the danger. So all these things come under the disaster management. So how the recovery is to be done? Many times what happens that people take disadvantage of the situation, and then they try to loot the people, those who are in the danger. So this should be stopped. So World Vision is helping to affect the people by providing food, clean water, and sanitation facilities, as well as livelihood development and program to ensure quality education and life skills training for young people. So some NGOs are there who care actually for the people, those who are facing some type of such difficulties. Now, preparedness is very important. While governments and humanitarian agencies, that is the NGOs, rush to meet the immediate needs of the children and families affected by disaster, World Vision, that is the NGO, also works year-round to help the communities reduce risk, help themselves when disaster strikes. Means they have ever-ready stock of all the materials. If there is any kind of odd thing happening somewhere, they rush and give them all the required help. Working with communities is very important for preparedness, is a key, says some well-known person. And this emergency affairs program officer, he was associated with this World Vision. Because while you can't entirely reduce risk from disasters, you can alleviate their effects if you are prepared. So you have to educate the people. Activating an early warning system network and its close monitoring. So this is possible only for some of the disasters which have breathing time. Mechanisms for integrating the scientific, technological, and administrative agencies for effective disaster management. Terrestrial communication means on land, links which collapse in the event of rapid onset disaster. Some type of mechanism alternate. If your mobiles don't work, you don't have to worry for that. Some another system should be ready parallel to establish a communication. Vulnerability of critical infrastructures, power supply, communication, water supply, and disaster events. This preparedness and mitigation are very often ignored. Lack of integrated efforts to collect and compile data information and location knowledge on disaster history and traditional response patterns. Need for standardized efforts in compiling and interpreting geospatial data, satellite imagery, and early warning signals. Now, sometimes satellites can help up to certain extent if there is any cyclone. For earthquake, it is rather difficult to predict, but only they can just find out fault lines, possibility of earthquake long term, but you cannot immediately give some help. Then the modeling, risk prediction, simulation, and the scenario analysis. These are the advanced computer technology people are using for the disasters. Then the funding, primacy of relief of disaster response. Many times, the economic help people don't receive at all, or if it is coming to the needy people, some intermediate people they just take it away. So, to the needy people, economic help sometimes is not reached at all. Okay. Now, which are the agencies to whom you should approach for what type of disasters? When there are floods, the Ministry of Water Resources takes care of it. Okay. So they have the adequate systems to manage with the floods. Cyclones. Then the Indian Meteorological Department, every time, every day, or any type of cyclone is coming, they publish the bulletin hourly. And they map and the satellite picture they project, and then you can know the entire location of your cyclone, in which area it is, what is the speed. Okay. Then the earthquakes, Indian Meteorological Department. For epidemics, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Then for avian flu, bird flu. Okay. This is one of the epidemic type of thing. Ministry of Health, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry. All they have to have a coordination. Then for any chemical disasters, Ministry of Environment and Forests. For industrial disasters, Ministry of Labor. Rail accidents, Ministry of Railways. And they have their own systems, if there is a train accident. From the nearest possible station, their rescue van train reaches that point, which has the emergency operation theater, because you don't have time to take the patient from there to the main hospital. So they have their immediate hospitals in the train itself only. So such type of rescue trains are there, and they are stationed at different places so that it should not take time to reach the accident place. So that rail accidents, Ministry of Railways, they take care. Air accidents, Ministry of Civil Aviation. For fire, Ministry of Home Affairs. And then for nuclear incidents, Department of Atomic Energy, because other agencies, they cannot do any measurements. What is the dose of the radioactivity, how to measure the radioactivity, from which distance the radioactivity should be tackled, and so on. And then the mine disasters, Department of Mines. So these are the agencies where to approach for what type of disaster. Now there is a high probability or a low probability for an event happening somewhere sometime soon. Then the unpredictability of a disaster events and the high risk and the vulnerability profiles make the imperative to strengthen disaster preparedness, mitigation, and enforcement of guidelines, building codes and restrictions on construction of buildings in flood-prone areas and storm surge, prone coastal areas. There are some agencies to give the clearance to the construction of buildings or of any huge work. But people pay money or they take bribes and they permit, and then the disaster takes place, then they raise the hand, something like that happens. So if there is a crucial strict follow-up of all these agencies to permit the building or something like that, up to what rise, how many stories building should be there, then there will not be any kind of mishap to that extent. But unfortunately, this is not happening. Now, this National Disaster Management Authority is an organization by Government of India, and it has been set up as the apex body for the disaster management in India, with the Prime Minister as its chairman. Remember, and then under this agency, these disasters are handled. Disaster management authorities will be set up at the state. So at the state, you will have at district level, such type of small unit will be there. And his chief minister of that state will be the chairman. And to the district level, that collector will be taking the charge of this chairmanship of the disaster management agency. Now, a National Disaster Mitigation Fund, that is NDMF, will be administered by NDMA, that is the National Disaster Management Agency. They will manage this fund. States and districts will administer mitigation funds. Now, a National Disaster Response Fund will be administered by NDMA again through the National Executive Committee. States and districts will administer State Disaster Response Fund and Disaster Response Fund respectively. Then the battalions of National Disaster Response Force, NDRF, you are familiar with this, are being trained and deployed with equipments and tools in 8 strategic locations. If for fighting the fire, they will have experts in the fire brigade. They have pipes and the motors and the truck which will carry these ladders. Usual. But they will have everything ready with them, equipments. For the floods, they will have yachts and the floating things, and then the Jawans will take and rescue. You might have seen. So all they are NDRF personnel taking care with their special teams, having expertise in the different disasters and with logistics. Then the National Disaster Management Policy and National Disaster Response Plan will also be drawn up accordingly. What are the lessons learned in this? Be prepared. Preparedness and mitigation is bound to yield more effective returns, than distributing relief after a disaster. If you keep quiet, let the disaster happen, and then distribute the money, there is no use. Better to have preparedness earlier. At least in the area which are prone for that. That preparedness will save a lot of money. Create a culture of preparedness and prevention. That culture should be there. Evolve a code of conduct for all stakeholders and encourage and consolidate knowledge networks. Mobilize and train disaster volunteers. That is what we are learning today. That is, mobilize and train disaster volunteers for more effective preparedness, mitigation, and response, in which the groups of NSS, National Service Scheme, National Cadet Corps, NCC, Scouts and Guides, Civil Defense Home Guards, all they must be given some preliminary training in the disaster management. Then the increased capacity building leads to fast vulnerability reduction. Learn from best practices in the disaster preparedness, mitigation, and disaster response. And what are the future directions for this? Mobilizing stakeholder participation of self-help, groups of women and groups of youth, then Panchayat Raj institutions, anticipatory governance simulation exercises, mock drills, and scenario analysis. Mock drills are many a times taken at the airports for the terrorist fighting mock drills. Similarly, mock drills should be conducted wherever possible for whatever disaster. So this will give a training to the people, those who are involved in the NDRF. Indigenous knowledge systems and coping practices. Then living with risk, community-based disaster risk and management. Then inclusive of participatory, gender-sensitive, child-friendly, eco-friendly, and disabled-friendly disaster management. See, if any disaster takes place, there will be men and women. So you have to be careful about handling the people who are men and who are women. So it should be gender-sensitive. Child-friendly, because there will be some kids also. Eco-friendly, it should not create any more pollution. And disabled, because there are some people who are old or those who are disabled. For them also you have to save or rescue. So you have to be prepared accordingly. The technology driven but people owned, knowledge management documentation and dissemination of good practices, and the public private partnerships. All these things will be in the future directions. Now, in money, if you are spending in the preparedness, if the disaster is not taking place, but still you have spent some money in preparedness, it is worth, because by chance if something happens, then pouring the money after the impact has no meaning. Prevention will yield sustainable results rather than spending money on the relief after disaster. Most disasters are predictable, especially in their seasonality and the disaster-prone areas which are vulnerable. Means in the rainy season, you know in which area there will be a flood. In the earthquake, you know the area of the zone where the earthquake is possibly likely to take place. You know cyclones. You know the coastal areas where the cyclones are likely to hit. So some types of long predictability is possible. So you have to be prepared accordingly. Communities must be involved in disaster preparedness. Now there are some examples. On 12th November 1970, a major cyclone hit the coastal belt of Bangladesh. And the speed of the winds, it was 223 kilometers per hour, supposed to be the highest, with the storm surges of 6 to 9 meters height of the waves in the ocean, killing an estimated people of so many. That is the 5 lakh people roughly. Due to cyclone preparedness program, in April 1991, cyclone with the speed at 225 kilometers per hour. Okay, killed only 138,000 people, even though the coastal population had doubled by that time. In May 1994, similar cyclone
सर आवाज नाही येते सर. सर हॅलो हॅलो.
आवाज केला आवाज.
हो आवाज येत नाही ना.
येतो
आता
का?
issue
आता
आहे.
येतो? हा.
हो सर येतो
आय
सर
एम
येतो.
ट्राईंग. हा, येतो ना?
येस
हा, आय एम
येस सर येस
कनेक्टिंग.
सर.
हा. तर
सर
आय एम ट्राईंग टू कनेक्ट स्क्रीन शेअरिंग करण्याचा प्रयत्न करत आहे.
ओके 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 सर.
हा हा. अरे काय झालं इथे? What is happening? I don't know. Hmm. Am I audible? ऐकायला येतं का?
Yes sir, yes sir.
Ah, yeah. So now try to continue this National Urban Renewal Mission, that is for 70 cities. Recent experience of unprecedented extreme weather conditions in a few major metros and mega cities, and so many rural knowledge centers are there. People are trying to erect this, and this is the network of the schematic diagram of the how the disaster management at the higher level to lower level is governed by the lot of network, and people are working on this. Okay, and how the disaster management center is working, which are the wings of that. I will not go into unnecessary details of that. It's a very complicated network. And these are some of the references required for this. So if you wish, you can see that book, Disaster Nursing and Emergency Preparedness, Springer publication 2007. Then there is another one, Natural Hazards and Disaster Management by this one. And this is 2006 publication. And this is from Delhi, you can get. And Disaster Management in India, published by the Government of India, Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay. So these are a few of the references. And Compendium on Disaster Risk Management, India's Perspective. Okay. This is the reference, and few links are there. So you can think of this. Okay. And I will talk something about the hazards. What is the definition of a hazard? 2-3 terms are there. After this, we will go for some another topic I will discuss. The hazards are defined as phenomena that pose a threat to people, structures, or economic assets, and which may cause disaster. They could be either man-made or naturally occurring in our environment. That is the definition of a hazard. It is a potentially damaging physical event, phenomenon, or human activity that may cause the loss of life or injury, property damage, social and economic disruption, or environmental degradation. That is the definition of a hazard. What is this word? Vulnerability. Vulnerability is the condition determined by the physical, social, economic, and environmental factors or processes which increase the susceptibility of a community to the impact of hazards. That is the definition of that. Capacity. Capacity is the combination of all the strengths and resources available within a community, society, or organization that can reduce the level of risk or the effects of a disaster. Capacity may include physical, institutional, social, or economic means, as well as skilled personnel or collective attributes such as leadership and management. Capacity may also be described as capabilities. Risk. What do you mean by risk? It is the probability of harmful consequences or expected losses, deaths, injuries, property, livelihoods, economic activities disrupted, or environmental damage, resulting from the interactions between the natural and human-induced hazards and vulnerable conditions. Risk is expressed by following formula. Risk is equal to hazard into vulnerability minus capacity. That is the definition of the risk. So, an earthquake hazard of the same magnitude, for example, the same magnitude takes place in a rarely populated village of Rajasthan and in the densely populated city of Delhi. They will cause different levels of damage to human lives, property, and economic activities. So, hazard has different aspects. So, where it is taking place depends upon that. So, this is all about the nuclear disasters. Few cartoons. Something happens and then the people are not ready to help. And they only photograph in the mobile and send or post it on your Facebook wall. You know, a couple of years ago, some boy jumped into the moat where there was a tiger in a zoo, and he was killed by the tiger. So we don't have any sufficient arrangement to make the tiger unconscious and something like that. So this is preparedness is not there for any such single mission. Our media, a person died. He is taken to a funeral or burning or something. All the family members are weeping, and the media people came. And the media people is asking to a dead body, अभी आपको कैसे लग रहा है? This is what our media. In Nepal, there was an earthquake. And before our NDRF goes, our media people, they just went by the, almost by like a parachute. And they started taking interviews. People need help. And the media people are asking how you feel. Are you comfortable there? Like this. Here, one person is in the earthquake. He is under a very heavy log. And then the people are asking, do you watch our channel? He is not rescuing that person. A house is on fire. Media people, they are there. तो बताइए आपको आग में जलते हुए कैसा लग रहा है? See. And then for any nonsense things they wanted to promote. Now he says, the dog who thinks he's a cat. Okay, come on, look here. The dog, he feels that he's a cat. And people are watching it on the television. The coaching center for TV debates. I don't watch because almost quarrels are going on. So here some dogs are under training. Just so this is and here is another reality. समय कम है, आप जल्दी से 2 घुसे और 4 थप्पड़ में अपना पक्ष रखिए. So you can understand how the TV debates are going on. And in experience, the interview board asks to a person, I am administration for 17 WhatsApp groups. Okay.
बजरंगबली काय सर्विसेस दोनों मग नाही
किरण सर आवाज बंद करा.
किरण सर. सरांच्या माईकला काही इश्यू झाला का? हॅलो सर, युअर व्हॉइस इज नॉट ऑडिबल. हॅलो सर. हॅलो. हॅलो सर, युअर व्हॉइस इज नॉट ऑडिबल सर. काहीतरी झालं. आय थिंक सर लेफ्ट झाले का?
सर करती बरं जॉईन 5 मिनिट्स.
चलो. एकदा डिक्कीत उघडा ना.
सर दिसतच नाहीत.
लेफ्ट झाले अजून 5 मिनिटांनी जॉईन करतायत सर.
ओके.
सर तुमचा माईक बंद करा, तुमचा आवाज येत होता थोड्या वेळापूर्वी.
हॅलो.
येस सर, युअर ऑडिबल.
जॉईन होत आहे, मी स्क्रीन शेअर करत आहे.
हो येस सर, येस कंटिन्यू.
इथे इथे लाईनचं डिस्टर्बन्स आहे. आय एम ट्राइंग टू शेअर दिस स्क्रीन.
नो प्रॉब्लेम.
हा.
स्क्रीन इज विजिबल सर.
आहे पण ते इकडे दिसत नाही मला नीट. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Ah. How to cancel this? थोडंसं इथं येत आहे मध्ये. Okay. Anyway, sir, my main topic is over. Now I wanted to, for half an hour, talk something about education today. Would you like to listen? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So education today. एज्युकेशन टुडे वर एक थोडेसे कार्टून आहेत ते मी दाखवण्याचा प्रयत्न करतो. ओके. हे इथं इथं येत आहे, हे कसं काढायचं आहे? दिस इज हाऊ समहाऊ आय वॉन्टेड टू रिमूव्ह धिस. इट्स नॉट गोइंग. ओके, ठीक आहे. हाऊ टू रिमूव्ह धिस which is coming here. हे इथे येत आहे ना, धिस पार्ट. So let us talk something about the education today. Okay. Now, people feel that our education is the enjoyment for teachers. Okay. Just like a Jurassic Park, so to say, there are many students doing this and that. People feel that education is a good job. Okay. People feel that teachers are getting salary and all that. But things are altogether different. Okay. So you will find problems in India are altogether a different situation. Many schools have smaller classroom, lack of toilets, lack of more able teachers, and so on. And the requirements of the school do not let the students to choose what they wanted to study. So there are constraints. So India has one of the most complex educational system in the world. Okay, so many schools, so many million students. So it's a very large scenario. So education is the most important factor and an extremely essential tool. So because education will build a nation. Okay. Now, some of the major factors map the progress of a country in education, such as expenditure per student, GDP, these things. Some countries which have best education system is in Japan. In Japan, students no examination in the early stages. Only they are taught the discipline, character building. Okay, for first years in the school, establish a good manner and develop their character. Children are taught to respect other people, gentle towards nature, generous, compassionate, and empathetic. So there are many qualities. Okay, so this is in Japan. Japanese students don't skip classes, nor do they arrive late for school. The average attendance in Japanese school is 99.99%. This is Japanese. South Korea, out of 20 most educated countries, it is one of the nice educational system. Then the United Kingdom, England. Then comes the Singapore, then the Russia. All these countries are ahead in education. Finland, Canada, Netherlands, okay, Ireland, Israel. And these are some of the countries from the Europe and Asia which have a better education. Okay. And if you take the ranking of 25, United States, United Kingdom, Australia, Germany, Canada, France, Netherlands, Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, all these countries, they are ahead. And you see the impact. The Nobel laureates so far, United States 371, United Kingdom 129, Germany 108, France 68, Sweden 31, Japan 27, Russia 26. So the production of the this what you call top researchers, good researchers, they are coming because of the good educational system. And here, how much we spend? For the advanced countries, they spend some 6%, whereas we spend only 0.6%. So you can understand that how much we have to spend more. Okay. So unless and until you spend more on the education, the quality will not improve. We have in good old days Gurukul, then the old system was having primary, middle, high school, then junior, senior, then there was some experiment of MCVC. Okay. Then the PG, then MPhil, PhD, now MPhil is scrapped, then the DSC, then you have some professional trainings like ITI, and then the integrated courses for law, engineering, something like that. And now new educational policy has come, and the future of that policy is yet not known. And there is a difference between teacher, mentor, and a guru. We will not go details in that. And then the politician went to a teacher. Teacher is poor, and I am sorry that I have failed you a few years ago. The teacher says, "Thanks for that, sir. Otherwise, I would have a teacher like you. Now I am a rich person since I am in politics." That is the cartoon. So we have different curricula, different boards, state board, ICSC, CBSC. There is no connection between these boards. Have a uniform board throughout. If you see the syllabus of ICSC, very difficult. Okay. How they are designed, there is a question. Different universities have different syllabi. There are yearly patterns, semester pattern, examination patterns, internal or semester end, assessment, continuous or periodic. And everyone is curious. See, Mahatma Gandhi is seeing under the microscope what is there. This is what? This is an water drop seen under the microscope. So, coming to the point that primary education is becoming costlier. It is a business now. Parents admit their wards at an early age that they don't want to keep their wards at home. There are many reasons. And you see people pouring money in the primary education. And नोट गिनने की मशीन के थोक विक्रेता सर्वाधिक सप्लाई कहाँ होती है? बैंकों में? नहीं, it is in private schools. Okay. In 90s, boys used to play outside and the parents wanted to bring them home. Now, students, the children, they are always with the computer or playing with the mobile phones. They don't go outside. Okay. So this is the change. So the boy goes outside and plays with the help of mouse and see. Okay. Now electronics had invaded in all walks of life. Education is no exception to that. Computers have invaded everywhere. After some years, nobody will read book. So a small book is there and all the kids are wondering what it is. Okay. So people are just wondering that and they are touching with the aerial or with the mobile phones and they are worried, what is this new item? The mother has given a book and the fellow says, no joystick, no mouse, no keyboard. How to do this? What to do with this book? Now, the boy says, give me the password. Mother says, no password is needed for opening the book. Here, the family is there at home. The boy came from the school. The school computers were down. So they sent us home, give a holiday. And the wife and husband, they are there. How was the book? Who died in the end? The wife asks. The husband says the battery died. Okay. To take to the school, boy has to be lured with some Facebook or some phone with them, and then they will go to school. Otherwise, not. Now, these books, they are seen 8 months ago, and the Facebook and phone, it is seen some 8 seconds ago. Yes, we are addicted. Syllabus 80 GB, we study 80 MB, retains in mind 80 kilobytes, written in exams 80 bytes, and results in binary digits. You will get 0 marks. Parents, you eat this vegetable, otherwise Wi-Fi password will not be given. Now, food and water and sleep is not very important. What is important is the social media. And you are all the time held up by the mobile. And the persons reading books are rare. Those who are reading books, people are photographing him. And this is evolution. Okay. Let me help you to cross the road. A blind fellow is helping to a person who is watching the mobile. And here the blind person is taking care of himself with the stick, whereas this fellow who is holding the mobile may fall down. If an earthquake takes place after 100 years, you will find some dead bodies like this holding the mobile. Okay. There will be some tablets after some years that you have to eat. Anti-WhatsApp tablets. One men, 1 tablet, women, 3 tablets daily. Then the WhatsApp hospitals will be there. Okay. Now there is a disease called selfie disease. You wanted to have a photograph when you are burning a firecracker in Diwali, but you don't have courage to hold near. So that stick is very long, and he has devised a new technique. People are always taking a care of his photograph while donating. Okay. So this is another selfie. मी घरी जात असतानाचा फोटो तिकडे सायकल वरून चाललोय बघा. I am here at the cycle. The boy is not worried about the breaking of his leg by a truck. He is worried about whether his mobile is saved. In case of fire, please leave the building before posting it on a social media. Okay. Otherwise, you will be burnt in the building. So if a death also comes, you may ask him to stop. I wanted to have a photograph with you and wanted to post on a Facebook. What is your will? Then he will say, let me have a photograph with you who is going to hang me. You know, PUBG is another popular game. That PUBG is sitting on like a ghost. And some of the husbands, they load this game in their wives so that they will kill themselves. Okay. Now the examination system is very difficult. For different persons to climb on, for different animals to climb on a tree is an examination. Naturally, monkey will come first or the bird will come first, but the fish cannot climb at all. Equality and equity. If you wanted to have equity in the results, then you don't take an examination, pass all of them. New policy, do not teach, only take exams till the student gets through. Till the student passes, go on taking examination. Don't teach. Now here is the evaluation of the question paper in 1970. Okay. Some length and breadth was given, the radius of the circles was given, find out the area, middle shaded area. In 85, calculate the area if the length and the breadth are given. In 2000, calculate the surface area of a rectangle by multiplying, given the formula, length and width. If you multiply, you will get the area. The formula is given. In 2010, tick which is the correct area. Okay. In 2015, choose the correct answer. What is the surface area of the rectangle? Michael Jackson, Canada, 600 breakfast. So that is the evolution. In 2018, color the rectangle with the color you prefer. So this is our advancement in the education. Now in 1995, answer all questions. In 2000, answer only 5 questions. Any 5 questions. In 2005, select the correct answers. That is MCQ. 4 optional or 3. In 2010, write either A or B. In 2015, please only read the questions. If you can read correctly, you are passed. In 2020, thanks for coming to the examination. You are passed. Stop examination, save paper. The morcha will come someday. Okay. Then the aggressiveness in the parents. If your ward is punished by the teacher, okay, then पप्पा इतने कम नंबर, पप्पा बोलते हैं 2 थप्पड़ मारने चाहिए. The boy says, टिंकू, हाँ पापा, चलो मैंने उस मास्टर जी का घर देखा है. The boy understands that his parent wanted to slap the teacher, not the boy. टीचर, कौन सा पंछी सबसे तेज उड़ता है? स्टूडेंट, सर हाथी। टीचर, नालायक, तेरा बाप क्या करता है? स्टूडेंट, दाऊद के गैंग में शूटर है। टीचर, शाबाश, लिखो बच्चों, हाथी। So the mafias are governing the education system. But you don't remember anything. You remember your good teachers. So always teachers are respected. Unfortunately, they are not valued by the society or by the system where you are serving. Okay. So always teachers make the students. Okay. Where there are failures, traditional question paper setting. We set the question paper, first question on the syllabus on this topic here. Innovation has no scope, and we are rigidly bound by syllabi. Now, here are some cartoons. Where is the capital of India? In Swiss banks. Okay, correct answer. Find X. You have to use Pythagoras theorem, but the boy says here it is. He has shown by arrow. हड़प्पा मोहनजोदाड़ो की संस्कृति पर प्रकाश डालिए. He has written that Harappa Mohenjo-daro ki Sanskriti and a torch. So he has lighting that. Expand, A plus B whole square. He is expanding by giving spaces. So the teacher has also expanded 0 by another 0. A complicated identity is given. This is equal to this. The boy says left hand side multiplied by 0 is 0. Right hand side multiplied by 0 is 0. Hence, right hand side is equal to left hand side. True. Teacher has given 10 out of 10 and multiplied by 0 is 0. गणित पेपर 30 रुपयाला 1 डझन आंबे आलेत, एक आंबा कसा पडला? पिशवी फाटली असेल. That is the answer. In a class, simple. Homework slightly difficult, and in examination, most difficult, which you are not taught in the class. Paper setting must be alert about what they are setting or what they are asking. See the question. Ashok has 4 apples. His train is 7 minutes late. Calculate the mass of the sun. एकाचा दुसऱ्याला संबंध नाही. No things are related to each other. One day our country will be corruption free. Which tense is this? Future impossible tense. There is no such tense in grammar, and therefore he is punished. And then a lecture that you missed and one topic that you didn't prepare always comes in the examination. Student of the Year award goes to a dog who is sitting in the classroom. Teachers are heavily loaded with non-academic duties, and society hates teachers because of their salaries and holidays, etc. Now, UGC wants teachers to do everything, right from teaching, syllabus designing, paper publishing, research, guidance, conducting practicals, taking student study tours, maintaining the account, help in the election, go for election duties, this, that. This is just like one tree having guava and the banana and the oranges and everything. This is nonsense because you cannot have expertise in all fields. And in private institutions, teachers are treated as laborers. You don't have any freedom. Okay. Then every bureaucrat rises beyond his level of incompetence. The more foolish person, he will rise. You will see your Samstha Chalak, they are not learned. Not learned people are there, they go on quarreling among themselves. Why computer engineers should not be surgeons? The computer experts, they have always stopped the computer, close it, and again start it. This cannot be done for a human body. Desperate students and parents use shortcuts. Okay. बाबा इंजीनियरिंग की नौकरी नहीं लग रही, इंजीनियरिंग क्या है, कौन सी ब्रांच है बेटा? मेरे कंप्यूटर, मेरी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स थी बेटा. Okay, you can understand the joke. Why the knowledge is not going inside your body like osmosis? पिताजी पढ़ाई से कुछ नहीं होता, सिर्फ पिता लालू जैसा चाहिए. Okay, so he is sure. Copying has no meaning. There is one example given. The one boy has solved that limit 1 by x minus 8. As x goes to 8, it will be infinite. This is infinity sign. Huh? And when the boy copies, there is an examination, there was another question. Limit 1 upon x minus 5, x tends to 5. He writes the answer like this. Because here he has turned horizontal. Here also he has turned horizontal. Bring innovations in teaching, questions, and research too. This is not happening unless and until you bring innovations, you are not going to go ahead. This is what you call innovation. The man has changed the direction of his umbrella and collecting the water. There is a pipe and he's collecting the water. This is called rainwater harvesting. One old person has called another person to watch a match. There is a less space. So the dog wags his tail only in the vertical direction. He says that because of lack of space, we have trained him like that. Okay. Now, if you wanted to have the fan and without electricity, then purchase a dog, hold a bone which he likes, then he will wag his tail. You attach a fan to his tail and you will get the fan wind without any electricity. Okay. New seatbelt design, 45 less car accidents. Okay. Then if you wanted to generate electricity and carry out the operation, then have a patient, don't give anesthesia. Then there should be any paddle like this because of the wounds and all that. Since no anesthesia, he will just oscillate his legs, then electricity will be generated, and in that light you can carry out the operation. So this is ingenious, indigenous development. So you can have like this. Okay. If a car handle is there, you can repair like this. If a seat is not there, you can use chairs. If the horn is not working, you can have a bell. Then a man is sitting behind his wife and he's watching to another lady. His wife says, I know because there is also a CCTV camera in my hair. Okay, so this is something very funny. Always there are large number of banks, but there is no money many times in the different ATMs. So the taxi wala has made an arrangement. He will visit all the ATMs for taking money out. Okay. So ladies are fond of many such ornaments. A doctor is just instead of showing ABCD, he is testing eyesight by his ornaments. Necessity is the mother of invention. No bullock, no ox. So therefore, he is utilizing a palang. Suggestion is you have to prepare well for the lectures, make the lectures interesting without losing the gravity, or else face the consequences. This was the beginning slide I have shown you, that a teacher is coming to the classroom. He is putting complicated equation, and the boys are interested in flying the aeroplanes, reading books, sleeping, making shirshasana in the class, and nobody is paying any attention. This is because you are teaching in a old-fashioned, okay, boring way. So you have to bring innovation in the teaching. Now you have to use novel ideas. This is the graph of cos, upper graph, lower graph is of sin x. Mathematics people know them. So cos y function is the red line. It is a cos z, so to say. Now teaching graphs. Suppose a boy falls in the love. Till that time his study was good. Study is on the y-axis. Then he goes down as the girl comes in his life. Okay, so here it comes here, and here the girl comes in the life, so study goes down. Then there is a proposal point, so he's steady. And if yes, he may improve. And if there is no, the girl says no, the boy goes into depression, the negative direction. He can come after depression, and this is realization of the truth, and he love bhi sab jhota, and then you have to work hard. So graphs you are teaching in this way. See, this is pie graph. The population of different countries is shown with the help of pie graph, so you can understand. So this China has this population, India has this population, the rest of the world has this population. Okay, so use pie graphs also to explain. Graphs, y is equal to 1 by x, this type of graph. This is circle equation. This is a graph minus 2x modulus. This is a graph minus 3 sin y. So you can see what is the figure? Love. These are the different clocks. And these clocks you can tell you depending on your knowledge of mathematics. Okay. For example, this is a determinant, this is a square, a cube root. Okay. You know the answer. Okay. And these are binary numbers. Okay. This is the meaning 12. This is 11. This is a binary number. Those who are doing electronics, they know this. Now, these are again different type of watches. You can do a lot of things with these watches. No, suppose this is factorial 3. Okay. The factorial means 1 into 2 into 3, 6 o'clock. Then this is root 81 means 9, like this. So there are many types of watches. You can learn a lot of mathematics with the help of. So you can make things interesting. Okay. Now there is a question. उसने बर्तन धोया, उससे बर्तन धोने पड़े. What is the difference in these two sentences? So इन दो वाक्य में क्या फर्क है? छात्र पहले वाक्य में कर्ता विवाहित है और दूसरे वाक्य में कर्ता विवाहित है. Okay. So this is how. This is a decoration instead of photograph or any painting. He has put periodic table on a wall. And then this is the periodic table, and then this discovery of the this element through which nation? The periodic table. Now, all these are the periodic table elements: barium, boron, yttrium, germanium, nickel, okay, uranium, sulfur. So, baby genius. That is the meaning of that. Okay. I cry, iodine, chromium, yttrium. Okay. Be nice, beryllium, nickel, cerium. Okay. So I periodically need caffeine. That means I need coffee. Calcium, ferrous, fluorine, ferrous, iodine, neon. These are the elements. This is the planets. Hg means Mercury, Venus, vanadium, europium, nitrogen, uranium, sulfur. All they are from the periodic table elements. Earth. Oh, E for europium, argon, thorium. Earth. Mars. M, molybdenum. Okay. No, sorry, manganese, argon, and sulfur. That is the Mars. Jupiter. Okay. So these are the different elements. So in this way, you can make designs. Now you don't know what do you mean by exa, peta, terra, giga, mega, kilo, hecto. So this is the metric prefixes. So this is for the positive prefixes. This is for negative one. Okay. Now these are the logic gates in the electronics. So you know how to operate this. Those who are doing computers or the binary numbers. Okay. Man and woman and result. Man is wrong, woman is right, woman is right. Man is right, woman is right, woman is right. Man is right, woman is wrong, result, woman is right. Man is wrong, woman is wrong, man is wrong. So this is the interesting things how they teach. These are different thermometer scales, which thermometers range which one. These are the different countries' characteristics, okay, of that. For example, Australia is known by kangaroo, then the this size, okay, Africa, western part, their hairs are like this. Russia is known by hodka, okay, India is known by curry, chicken curry, and so on. Brazil is known by coffee and football. All these countries, they are shown. Now presentations. You wanted to present your work. Display increases sales. So the person is saying selling oranges not by only heap, but with proper arrangements. Now this is again an advertise. Angreji bole matra 10 minute mein. Okay. So you can see there is a drink bottle. So you can speak any language in 10 minutes. Now this is very nice advertisement. Red label and red label wine. एक सुबह के लिए और एक शाम के लिए. So you see the very intelligent advertisement. भोजनालय ससुर जैसा भोजन मिलेगा. Now see that the students concentrate on learning, assignments, seminars, problem solving, and teachers have to guide them. But if there is no concentration, things will happen. Concentration is a must. Otherwise, nazar hati, durghatna ghati. While walking, be careful. आवश्यक सूचना वाहन चलाते समय सौंदर्य दर्शन ना करें नहीं तो देव दर्शन हो सकते. So engrossed with watching the TV. Baby is not eating, the dog is eating the food. Do not conclude as per your wish. So I need to spend an hour, at least 1 hour, on a machine, treadmill. So I am spending 1 hour. He is sleeping there. That is the meaning he concludes. Now the person fond of meeting ladies, you can see that there is a person who jhaduwala, but his shadow looks like a woman, and he feels that there is some lady standing here. Okay. So anything, you don't conclude as per your wish. मुलांनो, झाडावर प्रेम करा, झाडाखाली नको. The boy says, yes, correct, sir. पण तिला कुठे झाडावर चढता येतं? Okay, that is the meaning. My doctor allowed me only 1 glass of beer per day. Okay, but size of the glass you can see. Okay. Always respect your teacher. Okay. Then encourage creativity. There is a lot of scope. Creativity comes. This is a painting. All the opposition parties and then the prime minister alone fighting. Okay. Then if you wanted to have a sign, election sign, for all these groups, alike, this is the Trinamool, this is UP, and this is Congress, and this is arrow shoot, okay, this is Trinamool, something like that. Then this will be the ideal symbol. So creativity comes in a various ways. Creativity comes through rangoli, through art, this picture, through the stone. You can see simply stones, but you can have some ideas in mind, and from stones only you can create some beautiful designs. See that some human beings, human figures are seen with the stones. This is from flowers. The boy is asked to see his younger brother. So he is interested in watching TV. So he locked his brother in a stool. Sri Chakradhar. Okay. All these words are in one diagram. Okay. So this is creativity. A school painted like a railway. Actually, this is a school building. Then teamwork is very important. You have seen this. Sometimes you perceive something like that. This fellow says it is 6, this fellow says 9. Okay. From this side, if you see it is 4, from this side, if you see this is 3. Optical illusion. Now, this is a cylindrical figure. If you put a light from the left side, you will get the shadow like this circle. If you put the shadow from this side, you will get a figure, a shadow like this. But neither the actual material is a circle nor it is a square. Okay. So something, truth is different. These are the circles which are not intersecting at all, but your eye will make an illusion that they are crossing each other. If you carefully see that none of the circles intersect each other. So here is apathy in our symptom. For any project, if you take correspondence and letters, the man commission is coming to visit his laboratory. The research lab is in that corner. There is one small unit here. This is the administrative work connected with it. So many heap of papers. Okay. Only this diagram, this pro forma, that letter, this letter, accounts, this, that. People don't want to take any project for this. If you take just a flame and watch it carefully, you can learn many things. If you watch a drop of seawater through a microscope, you can see many animals. Okay. If you take a sand, okay, and look in a magnified 300 times, you will see sand particles like this. This is a maze. People have developed the varieties where you can see different kind of maze. Okay, this is that. Actually, people have produced this. This type of mango variety, mix of jamun and mango. Okay, people have developed. Now there will be some some kids in 3000. They will have some daftar or the school bags through which 2 legs will come and they will lift the boy, and the boy will be taken to the school. For makeup, there will be some program like this. And if a lady comes, just put it and makeup will be ready. No time spending on that. So in a bus stand or whenever there is a rush, you don't have anything to sit. So there are no benches, they are full. Some pants will be there in the market from which 2 legs will come. Your 2 legs and 2 legs coming from pant. You can have a chair type of thing. And keep on learning. This is that Wangchuk from Ladakh, and he has He has established one school there, and they research, and the school is internationally known. He got Magsaysay Award. What work he has done is there. I will not go into details. Okay. Now, sometimes we don't teach, and when we go for the interview, we fire the candidate by asking questions. This is wrong. And whenever other people work hard, we say it is very easy somehow. He managed. Okay. And always be kind for the people. Always you will get the kindness and will change somebody's day. So finally, learn with the enthusiasm and not taught with the interest. Okay. Our problems are different compared to the advanced countries in West, especially UK, Europe, and US. Their methods may not be applicable in Indian context. So cafeteria approach and this and that. You can study 2 degrees at a time. You can take any subject of your choice, the next subject. All this is humbug. If a person Marathi wanted to learn mathematics, it's very difficult. So that cafeteria approach and all these things are altogether not possible in India. Many times teachers are not dedicated, or otherwise they are very poorly paid. Then our curriculum pattern, they are all different. We have to develop and involve the system as per our requirements. That there we have failed. We should know basics in depth. Without our understanding of the basics, we cannot think of any innovation. Proper books. There are no good books in the library. People survive on the small notes at the time of the examination. They copy from these books. How you expect them to learn? Unless and until you go for solving problems from good books. Then those who are not teaching, they are framing the syllabi. That is another part. Then the concept of resource letters, it is not in our country. Lab and classroom teaching sometimes have no overlap. Sometimes some theory you see in the first year, practicals next year. Sometimes practical in second year and theory in the third year. Something like that. Questions papers are rigidly patterned. Very bad. Very little homework is done by paper setters. No novel ideas. A mediocre teacher tells, a good teacher explains, a super teacher demonstrates, a great teacher inspires. Tell me, I shall forget, show me, I may remember, involve me, I shall understand. And this is an ideal teacher. Be an ideal teacher instead of an idle teacher, sleeping in the class. Innocent and nice people get hurt in life easily because they trust the wrong people. Be careful of your own company. So success is you have to work hard from your mistakes, learn from failures, learn from rejections, learn from frustration and insult. Then you will get success. And something, Foxpurchi mango bai tu mala bread means what is that? Kolhapurchi Mahalakshmi bai tu mala pav. That is the meaning of it. What is this? Padhai जीवन का आधार है. That is the meaning of this. Okay. Always, there are some more cartoons, and then we will end after 5 minutes. When in doubt, set up a committee. Your principal will give you always some work. So if the success comes, very good. If there is a failure, then always there is some type of failure analysis. Committees are appointed. Here, one beggar is coming and asking money to a person. He is in doubt whether really he is a beggar or not. Then he sets up a committee of 2 persons. They are discussing and they cannot solve the problem. So they appoint again committee of 3 persons. They also cannot solve. Again, there is a company of 4 people. So the correspondence is increasing, day and TA increasing, money spent on the TA and the meals increasing, but the problem as it is. So when in doubt, set up a committee. That is the answer. So we are coming to an end. The holy festival will be after tomorrow. Now you see here the irony. भविष्य में लोग इतने व्यस्त हो जाएंगे कि खुद जाने के बजाय कुरियर सर्विस द्वारा अपने दोस्तों और रिश्तेदारों को रंग डलवाएंगे. Here is a postman or the courier deliver. He is coming with a bucket. As soon as the person comes, when the bell rings, he puts color on that fellow and he says, this color is sent by your friend Manish and please sign here. I am a courier, you know. So wish you all a very happy Holi. And last slide probably. What you all learned in this disaster management course, just forget. What is important is the last day certificate. That is very important. Forget the goal. It is the paperwork that counts. A boy is born. He wanted to take a birth certificate because everywhere birth certificate is required. He is going from one place to another place, to from this office to that office. Everywhere he is told, bring that, this affidavit, that paper, this card, that paper, this document. And by the time he collects all the documents for getting the birth certificates, he is very old, almost on the verge of a death. So the officer there, he says, now you take death certificate also with you. So this is the irony. We believe only on paperwork. Go on collecting papers and documents and affidavits. So forget the goal, what you have learned in this course. It is the paperwork, that is the certificate that counts for your increment. So this is all which I wanted to conduct. So thank you very much. Have a nice day. And I hope I have done justice in my all 4 lectures or 2 sessions about the disaster management. And whatever knowledge I have collected, that I have given to you. 73 participants from different parts. So it is not possible for me to get introduction from anybody. It seems there are 2-3 participants from out of states also. So few seems from Gujarat and one seems from Kerala or Tamil Nadu. And a few are from Bengal, it seems, from the surname. But anyway, I thank you all. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put me here. And here I again thank my friend Professor Ram Chauhan for giving me an opportunity. I thank Dr. Satish Patil, Director, and the Mohammad Rafi and the entire staff of your HRDC.
बोलताना कधीही स्वतःच्या जिभेवर ताबा ठेवला पाहिजे, कधी पण.
So thank you very much.
Thank you,
चला,
sir.
धन्यवाद.
Thank you, sir.
No,
Thank vote of
wait a
question
minute,
आहे.
sir. Vote of thanks to the
Any question if you have, please.
Questions विचारा अगोदर कोणाला असेल तर नंतर vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Sir, thank you, sir.
If there are no
Sir,
questions, I am very happy.
Please, sir. Sir, please.
Question
Sir.
विचारा कोणाला असतील तर.
जो लास्ट सेशनची आहे ना प्रेझेंटेशन ग्रुप वरती शेअर करा प्लीज सर.
हॅलो सर, आमची इच्छा आहे दुसऱ्या सेशनचं प्रेझेंटेशन ग्रुपवर शेअर करा प्लीज.
येस सर, येस सर.
Any questions or otherwise shall I start the vote of thanks?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
It's really nice session, sir. And being teacher, I'm really impressed with this session.
Thank you very much. Your name, please, coming from?
I'm Dr. Archana Patil, Assistant Professor in Zoology, SM Joshi College, Professor Pune.
Nice, nice. Thank you very much, madam. Anybody?
Hello, sir.
Comments? Any comment?
Good afternoon, sir. Hello, good afternoon, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, very wonderful session.
Thank you very much.
Behind the later part of the session was very interesting. That actually how a teacher should be in today's time, because students nowadays want this kind of teachers only. I belong to Mumbai. Whenever we go in the class, they always say one sentence to us. Ma'am, vibe नहीं आ रहा है. आपके लेक्चर में वाइब नहीं आ रहा है. सर आपके लेक्चर में लेकिन वाइब बहुत आया सर लेटर पार्ट में.
Thank you madam.
Thank you sir. Yeah.
Yes sir. I also agree with madam.
Humor, combination of humor and iron is there.
Yes. Anybody else any comment?
Shall I start vote of thanks now?
Yes sir. Continue.
Okay. On behalf of all participants, I, Dr. Vilas Raghunath Jadwar, roll number 66 from K.S. Anandbhai Pradhan Science College, Nagotne, District Raigad, would like to express our sincere gratitude to the organizers of this insightful refresher course in disaster management and the comprehensive explanation of the theme of the course, expert faculty, today's session, Honorable Sri Subhash Behare, sir. And for engaging this session have provided us with extremely very useful, priceless knowledge and updated skills, allowing us to enhance our professional capabilities. We all especially appreciate the dedication of Dr. Behare sir on the topic of nuclear disaster management, and the second session was very interesting. That was the present scenario and the future scenario of our education, in which sir has explained in detail about the education. Previously, sir has also explained in detail about the different aspects in his session, that is particularly nuclear energy, destruction of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, long-term effects of nuclear disaster, physical effects of nuclear weapons, management of nuclear disaster, GIS system, then data mining, statistical analysis, role of medical professionals, characteristics of the disaster, principle of the disaster management, phases of the disaster management, and all. Also, sir has explained very systematically, very interestingly the second session. All we were very carefully listening that sir session. Thank you, sir, for this enriching experience, and I am also thankful to the director, Dr. S.S. Patil, sir, assistant director, Dr. Mohammad Rafe, sir, course coordinator, Dr. Ram Chavan, sir, and all official staff of the UGC-MMTC, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. Thank to one and all present over here for this session. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaskar. Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, now it's over to HRDC. Gaurav, sir. Can we leave now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, sir.